Well, hello there. This is a strange start to the show. You usually met with intro music, but it's me, Ryan Wilson, asking you to do a very specific thing. All I need you to do right now is look down at your phone, go to the comments section where you find your podcast, and we want you to rate us 5-star. If it's not 5-star, don't bother. We also want you to leave a lovely comment along with that as well, and we'll get into that in a second when the show starts. So thank you very much. Make sure you don't forget to do it. Do it now. Look down at your phone, give us 5 stars, and leave us a comment. Apparently, this helps with the algorithm. Again, 25 shows in, and we're only learning this sort of stuff. Thank you.
More or nothing.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Maul or Nothing with Ryan and Max. We've heard from Ryan with a lovely introductory message. How are reviews anyway?
I don't know whether you boys go on here, right? But so, Max, stop slurping into the microphone. For God's sake.
ASMR.
Right. It is. What does ASMR stand for?
Oh, no, wait. I don't know why I was going. Yeah.
Where are you going with that?
What does
You disgust me.
ASMR? Have a think. I can't think of what it is. But anyway, stop slurping into the mic. You are a slurper. I'm a slurper. Boys, I don't know whether you've ever been in here, but I've been into the comments bit, right? And where people rate us. And people have been really kind and rated us really well. Can't stop laughing. Amazing podcast. Keep it up, boys. Thank you very much to Fluffer9.
Is it actually?
Fluffer9. That's definitely you, Mark. Mince and onions for dinner. Digging it deep. A right good time of it. Balanced, informed rugby opinions with mischief presented by good blokes. Thank you very much. That's what we want. This is the sort of stuff we want. And there's a slightly longer one here. Shall I read it? Yeah, why not? In a ever-growing pile of podcasts that land in my weekly rotations, I always look forward to listening to this one. The dichotomy? Dichotomy? Max, what does that mean?
Dichotomy.
What does that mean?
Just lots of words and stuff.
Between Max and Wills being shepherded along by the impressive Mark is engaging.
Thank you, Mum.
And it always brings a smile to my face. Keep up the good work. So these are lovely, aren't they? And the reason I read a couple of really nice ones up, saying obviously how brilliant you are, Mark. Quite recently, we reviewed 1 star.
What?
Yeah, awful chat and sound quality by DCM3283. Whoever you are, come forward, you fucking wanker. He said, you're all right. Me and Mark, not so much. Really hard listen, sound quality-wise. That's you, James, you tosser in the background, the producer. Especially Max. Something to do with your mic. Plus, Wilson is a prized bellend.
Oh, no.
Gets better.
Here we go.
The nobody toff presenter who just shouts and has no banter results in a terrible pod. Stick to the GBR and the rugby pod for a decent pod. Well, do you know what? If that's what you go to, then you deserve to stay there because they're shite podcasts, so fuck off. Right, there we have it. But anyway, for everyone else, as I asked at the beginning, rate us 5 stars, especially if you like this little segment, and leave us your comments. The funnier the better because we can leave them. But even if you want to give us shit comments, throw them in there. Throw some heat. But don't forget, click 5 stars.
5 stars.
I'm not sure that's how it works. Oh, I love that. Absolutely love that.
Let's kick in for it was a light weekend of rugby, but there was some heavy celebrations, I'm sure, from Max and the boys at Bristol on what was a fabulous day for attacking, entertaining rugby, full house. It looked brilliant.
It was a good day. It was a great day. I was, how good were my celebrations?
Celebrations. Mate, that's all the comments said. All I was getting...
I was invested.
Have you seen Max the Heath celebrating? Have you seen it? It's a miracle. Look at it. Go and look at the clips.
I was very invested. It was weird. It was like a strange nostalgia kind of overcame me. It was very weird.
It's something to do with the game, though, because of the way it was forward and backwards, and it was just a ridiculous game that you bought into it.
Death by points. Optional tackling from both teams. It was mental. Everyone was crossing the whitewash. It was class. I got to lock horns with Big Finn and Cammy. Yeah, they were on good form. But mate, crazy game. So much fun.
We're gonna have to do the pumping up here because he's not gonna do it himself. What about you? Yeah, look, hold on. Yeah, let me take a little sip as I pump you up, mate.
Okay.
The feet on the man. The side steps, the tackle breaks. There must have been about 5 tackle breaks at one point, and then taking it close to the line from. It was a beautiful thing, Max. I think one of the games you like when you made that chop. You ended up on your knees and you're like, oh no, I've lost my leg drive here. But then you decided, no, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to fight. And you get up. Who was it?
Big Joe. Yeah.
Not going to say it. And he said something after because I saw him laughing and I saw you laughing.
Chill, bros.
Hey, they are. I'm watching rugby only because you're playing.
And Finn.
No, I was more in there for you because I was looking for the helmet. But it's still not made to come back.
We're waiting for the clearance. It's okay. It's coming back. Fear not.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, what a game. 101 points?
101 points. Full house as well at the gate. Mate, it was a special day. It really was.
You boys are doing it well down there, though. Like, you know, everyone's talking about rugby and, the game's on, we've got to create more of an atmosphere around it. Bristol, I reckon in the Prem...
They go for it.
Are up there. Like, you're selling out Ashton Gate, and there's because I took a screenshot and I thought I'm going to share this with Glasgow and go and tell them. Have you seen the itinerary before? Look at this. The party starts at 12 o'clock. Live music on stage. There's a family area for fun. Q&A in the Bears Den. DJ set in the bowl. I'm like, hold on a minute. It sounds like a proper day out. Like they make a big effort.
Yeah, they go for it, mate. Yeah, they're big on that. Very big on making it like a full match day experience for all the family.
So there's an actual DJ set in the bowl. That makes sense. Get everyone into their seats early and have a bit of a party before the game.
The pyrotechnics were also quite zealous. It was very smoky at one point. Yeah. I was like, I can't see a damn thing. The black lung part. They got the black lung.
I like it. I think Bristol are doing it well, and we've seen that. We like their social media stuff. We love their social media.
Their meme game. Yeah. Their meme game's on point. Yeah, very good. Yeah, very good.
The atmosphere. Did you feel that it was going to be one of those days? You know, could you feel that in the run up? Could you feel that in the day? You're saying, there's all this partying and everything, but it's always a big match against your big rivals against Bath. Did you get a sense of that when you're coming into the stadium, coming into Ashton Gate?
Yeah, it was like the biggest game on the calendar for the Bristol faithful. So, especially at home, and they beating us 1 point away, it was massive, and you could just feel the energy. But more importantly, I think it galvanised the boys like from the minute go. Obviously, Joe crossing early through Finn's naughty short kicking game, which ended up being a double-edged sword. But we were still in it, we just believed, and like you could see it from like the contacts, the breakdown. It was all the sort of intangibles, the things you measure a game of rugby on, those things that don't require too much talent, were just right up there. So you could just tell it was going to be vigorous.
And no Monday morning debrief because you've got a bit of time off.
Escaped, yeah.
So you could kick the arse out of it. Yeah. Did you catch up with Finn, and how was the piss up? I
caught up with Finn briefly. I didn't get to chat too long.
Mate, he's too big now.
No, he's so big.
Netflix star, isn't he?
And now everyone's just flying into him from that Messi thing.
Well, that's it.
I know, but it's probably good. All press is good press.
It is. I think it's going to do wonders for him. I'm sure we'll get onto it in a bit, the old Netflix stuff. But
yeah.
Some people took that comment in the wrong way, didn't they?
Oh, but that's just rugby, isn't it? That is so rugby.
Like...
How dare you? If there's a sport that will humble you, it's this one.
It's fucking unbelievable. Like, people actually thinking he's being deadly serious. Like, unbelievable.
I know.
Mental way. And then, like you said, that's held against him. So when he puts that kick in, the amount of memes
and then everything's like, oh, that was very messy. And it's just like, oh, that was very original. How witty and profound of you. But such is the way.
Yeah, it won't knock him, will it?
No,
and then,
absolutely not.
We realised you were dusty yesterday because we're in Mark's house, by the way, for anyone that doesn't realise, or if you're listening. Are we allowed to? You looked panicked when we said that.
No, I don't mind. No,
yeah,
don't give the address. Don't run a ticker underneath for my address.
You can tell it's Mark's house because look in the back, all the Verve Clico in the fridge. Just literally, he doesn't even have water. It's just, what is that?
It's just milk of the grape.
I bet that stuff's down the bottom is expensive as well. But we're here, and
Indeed.
you were
yesterday.
You were bad yesterday.
Oh yeah, we did celebrate
yesterday.
Yeah, I was meant to, and then I just sort of was like, I'm going to get a bit down now. You know, I get awful come down sometimes from a big bender, and it was a decent bender, very good, jovial times with the men. Maggie Bradbury had a strong fellowship with him, and I just threw myself amongst that. It was a lot of fun.
Where did you go out? Where did you go in Bristol?
We started off at Steam, then onwards to the Triangle, and then I ended up in a pizza place. Ate my pizza and went home. Woke up.
I'm sure there's a 6-hour gap there between.
Yeah, the triangle. Yeah, that's
The Bermuda Triangle,
that's where
basically.
most. Yeah, exactly. Where most of your soul just kind of degenerates and
And you
disappears.
were dusty the next morning.
I wasn't the best. I was not bright-eyed.
See, before we did this, I sat through there in the lounge and on one of your many leather-bound sofas. The old, what are they, Chesterfields? And,
They're not Chesterfield.
yeah, Chesterfield. Not just pretending there's
Oh, the
Chesterfields. Reading a leather-bound book through there.
And mahogany wood
Toff,
paneling.
what do they call them? The Toff what? Anyway, Nutface's brochures through there. And we were chatting, and it actually made me feel better that I didn't have a hangover yesterday, and he did. Made me feel better.
Yeah,
He was
what
feeling
is
better,
that?
so
That's a
it's
strange
weird, isn't it?
psychology, isn't it?
Yeah,
You're like,
enjoying somebody else's
so
pain.
happy
Yeah.
that you were struggling in turmoil of just alcohol-induced existentialism.
But that's it now. You got a week off.
I know. How good. And then Saders next week.
Yes.
Should be fun, mate. Lots to look forward to. Should be a good crack. I'm not sure how I'm going to keep in shape this week. Got sent a load of homework from the S&C stuff.
Is that what you worry about, genuinely?
Absolutely, man. You got to stay tip-top, especially as you're getting older. Look at me. I'm aging. Old
No,
boy.
I think
I'm a
that's...
geriatric athlete.
No.
No. This is geriatric athlete territory now.
No, I think that you then just take the week off.
Oh, no. I'm
and
going
do
to chill.
nothing.
No. I'm not going to do too much. Just a little bit, you know.
Like, what is a little bit?
Oh, you know, beach sessions, maybe hit the dojo, have a roll with some gorillas.
So you're gonna voluntarily go and wrestle with...
Yeah, and get
Random
choked
men.
up. Oh, mate, I bumped into one of them. One of them was Magnus's mutual friend.
Of course.
A blue belt, yeah.
Is blue good? Is
And
that good,
we
Mark?
were reminiscing about our roll in the hay. It was good times. But yeah.
So that's what you'll do. You go do a bit of dojo, a little bit of beach weights.
Yeah, maybe a spot of
Stay away from the
Keep
running.
the calves.
For
Yeah,
those-
not too much.
Was that in part
no
one of the
5Ks.
Benno episode that
It
went out
was,
last week?
It was, yes, it was, yeah.
And keep your ears and eyes peeled for part 2. Listen to me, I'm like a fucking advert, aren't I?
Yeah, you
Part
disgusting.
2, yeah,
You
part 2
sold-
is
you
coming out
sold
this week of
You
the
sold
Benno.
out.
Yeah, but hold on, I'm the one trying to keep this stuff together. Fucking travel all the way from Glasgow and the first one here today. It's fucking unbelievable.
Hungry, are you?
Yeah, I am hungry. Talking about hungry, what about you turning down the toast because I put Mark's...
No, I cannot be having sunflower seed oil on my food. No, that's
Why
unacceptable.
don't you have real butter?
Linoleic acid in the seed oil is very bad for you.
You weren't happy with that.
No, but he thinks it's like the atheroma maker. That's not the case. Butter doesn't clog your arteries. Sorry, it doesn't matter anyway. Let's not go down this rabbit hole.
Oh, I like this.
It's
rabbit hole.
long.
When I said to him, why won't you eat that? He went, we don't want to go there.
That's just too
And
long.
I just sat eating off my unicorn plate whilst he had the dinosaur thing. I didn't want to ruin any of the plates, I'm worried.
He sent back my toast.
No, he smashed the guts out of it.
What this?
My denigrations from the chef. Yeah.
Just so you know, I had a weekend of absolutely nothing ruined by my children.
Wow.
Frank's sick, so he completely ruined the whole weekend.
Why? What did he do?
He just got sick, and then
He was really happy when I was on the phone to him the other day.
yeah.
Does Ryan know you're on the phone to him?
I was thinking to Ryan.
Because that's
Then Frank
classic.
dropped in.
Yeah, no,
You're
he-
right, mate.
Yeah, he loves it. What, mate?
You're right, mate.
But other than that, yeah, he was went out. Baby, he started crying. Apparently, babysitter. I hope she won't listen to this, but she basically called us back. He was sat watching Peppa Pig at 11:30 at night, happy as Larry, but we had to come home because he was awake. Absolutely madness. But anyway, yeah, ruined weekend. What did I actually do yesterday? I went for a lovely pizza with the kids and spent all my money.
As you
Begrudgingly.
alluded to earlier, yeah.
Kids are expensive, Mark.
Yeah, I know. That's why I've got half as many as you do.
It only dawned on me like last week, and we
Oh, well,
spoke
I don't
about
know.
this, the old
Took that
holiday
long,
thing.
did it?
Yeah, it only properly dawned on me that, like yesterday, someone was like, "Can I have a bacon sandwich?" And then all four of them like, "Bacon sandwich." So make like 2 packs of bacon and a whole loaf of bread, and just don't like that. And you're like booking holidays. Oh, anyway, my fault. I know, 4 kids, but yeah, kids are expensive and they ruin my weekend. So
They won't listen to this, right?
No, they don't listen to it much. Frank might. His iPod.
Just quickly finish off one thing for us from the game. Pat saying afterwards that the powers that be wanted there to be a return to the Bristol way of playing, sort of throwing the ball around. Did you get a feeling that in the week that was what was now being asked of you guys?
Yes, there was a very decisive, definitive sort of narrative change in the way of how we've been playing. But that's not just been this week. It's been sort of, I don't know, last fortnight or so. So we started off playing in more of the kind of, I don't know, the more successful teams, I suppose, were historically using territory, kicking the ball, kick meters gained and kicks were sort of is that sort of KPI, no? Yeah? Key performance indicator of a winning team. And now we've been told, no, we're going to death by total rugby.
Yeah.
Win all of
That's it. I was just saying beforehand as well, Max, that you had 25,000 people or whatever at Ashton Gate, and it's a packed house. There'll be like lots of like kids as well there. Maybe their first experience. They go there. They watch 100-point Tri-Fest. They watch you guys win. You know, it's entertaining, and that solidifies that relationship between the fans and the club and the team and how you play. And it's like a virtuous circle. And I think that, you know, regardless of what the outcome would have been, it's still the way to get people into rugby.
But I think we're seeing more of it. Like, you look at all the results recently, it's high-scoring games. I don't know why. I think we're seeing more of that. I think people are starting to throw the ball about a bit more and get a bit looser with it. Like, you know what I mean?
Do you reckon everyone was just getting sad?
Maybe. They're just like, fuck it.
I don't want to chase kicks. You don't want to chase the ball.
Like, the good thing with Glasgow, they're always plays like that. And there's no... they kick the least out of hand and just run from everywhere, and everyone goes, "Oh, it's going to kill them," but it doesn't. There's a way to play, and I think everyone should be doing it. And let's try and find more rules. Do you remember they started tweaking bits to try and make?
That's what they're trying to do. Encourage
they need to carry
attack.
on trying to do that.
Absolutely.
What is mental though? Looking at the league table, you're 8th in a Premiership of 10, and you're only 7 points off of second.
We're back in the hunt, boys.
How mad is that though?
We're back in.
That shows how tight it is. Like between there, yeah, you got Sale, Leicester, Exeter, Sarries, Bath, and Quins, but you're all within 7 points of each other. So literally anything could happen.
Anything could happen. Yeah, it's true.
I love it. I love it that Pat doesn't care anymore. He's just throwing the ball about. That's
well, I didn't quite say that, but yeah.
And then another thing that pissed me off at the weekend whilst we're on it.
Okay.
Look at the Premiership. We've got player mics. Oh, well done. We did that 8 years ago. Like, honestly, though, it's like... No,
but why is that so... Why does that irritate you so much?
I think it was the way that it was like, first ever, Premiership used player mics. And you're like, it's been used before. It's not just you lot. And I've got to be careful because I do work in the Premiership. I work for TNT sometimes, so I need to be careful. But... it did piss me off a bit, so I had to jump on Twitter and give it the old. Well, actually,
on one of your burner accounts
in 2015, that's right, over 8 years ago, it was done in the Pro 12 back then. And
I was going to reply and be like, sour grapes.
You should have.
I don't know why I didn't.
Fucking
I was
hell!
like, you're pathetic.
You replying to anything would have been lovely, like a message. That would have.
Very good. Very good.
If you had replied to my tweet,
Oh
and not
my
fucking
God.
text, I would have smashed my phone.
Furious.
Red lights everywhere.
Just siren emojis, left, right, and rhubarb.
But yeah, like it didn't seem to work that well with Big Stevie Luatua. Whereas there was a photo that went out on another podcast thing, which I started sliding into. They put a player might be worn. It was you with the Gryffindor helmet.
You wouldn't want me.
Yes, you would. Because
Mate,
you
it
would
be
play
heavy
up to
breathing.
Nah, you would.
I
play
would.
Up to it.
I'd probably play up to it a
Yeah.
bit. I would. Yeah.
And you'd be able to give us like a running commentary. It'd be fucking hilarious.
I actually probably would have done a running commentary. So here I go around the corner.
Yeah.
I'm at the pillar.
Whereas I
I'm
feel
going to
like
fill on the inside. Make sure Finn can't throw anything back on me. Canny fox that he is.
yeah, copy.
Yeah, just like run, and then you'd hear me after I'd made like a after a like carry, and then you just
hold on.
you move in, Magnus, carry this phase, please. Please, Parry. I can't move.
But what about after that scrum where you won the penalty? What were you mouthing there? Oh, fuck! You were like...
Yeah, I went full warlord. I went full Lurtz from...
What were you
Fellowship
saying?
of
Do you
the
know
Ring.
what you were saying?
I can't remember. Man flesh. Looks like meat's back on the menu, boys. No, I just lost it because I was just like, I knew that was a pretty definitive decision. We got points in front of the post. I was like, that should seal this off. So that's why I sort of lost the plot a little. Because we were under the pump. Like, we were conceding a ton of penalties down our end. Bath were just, like, Dutoit started get crossing the wash. We were, so... 2 yellows, yeah. It was a game full of drama.
It was.
Theatrical peaks and troughs and peaks, more peaks. Yeah.
Dinner was delayed in my house because I was watching it and I kept pausing it and I was like, no, just wait.
Shut up, wait.
Dad, we're hungry. I'm like, look at Max. I was loving it, absolutely loving it.
Yeah, that was...
That was good. That was good. I'm glad to see the Prem keeping up with technology.
Talk us through actually how the setup was. How did it work with the player mics?
He just wore like a lycra vest, and they just had some like squishy mic on him. That was it. Yeah.
Did he give you the heads up though? Because if I was wearing it, I would be very aware that everyone around me would come and say stuff they shouldn't. So I'd be like, boys, mic'd up. Don't say anything.
Nah, I did. Yeah, we all knew he had it on him, but I'd never say anything too ridiculous to Steve. I don't say anything that ridiculous on a game, to be honest.
Yeah, but there are people, I'm sure, who are there who are swearing away.
No, it's not the swearing you need to worry about. Like
What?
some, I
Like
don't know.
what?
I back in 2015 when they did it, I remember they put one on Hoggy. Back in the Pro 12 URC. 8 years ago,
Rabbit.
they put one on Hoggy,
Yeah.
and he just played up to it like you wouldn't believe. It's actually cringe.
Oh,
He,
really?
Yeah,
He
he
went
went
full
like,
El
like
Capo.
singing and stuff like that in the backfield, and like it was pretty bad. But I would never be able to wear one. Like, I'm not saying it's just some of the stuff you
you've got
say.
a potty mouth and
Yeah.
you're weirdly evil on the field.
Well, that's it. It was like it's the stuff I say to people on the field. I was like, fuck, I'd never want that to get out there.
The stuff I say to people on the field, I never want to get out.
But
there.
I was trying to get in people's heads, remember? And
Oh yeah, you just.
it could get people in a lot of trouble. We did it at training once as well. We mic people up at training, but you'd always then try and catch boys out because not everyone knew you had it on at your training. They would try and do different things. So you'd be. I remember Scotland training. They put one on me, and I was going up to the boys again. So what do you think of Gregor Townsend? And then they would start to go, and I'd be like, just as a joke, to see if, and they would start, and I'd be like, fuck. Joking,
You are
I've got the mic.
terrible
I've got
bloke.
the mic, don't say anything. And they're like, oh. Yeah, you could get some people in some serious trouble, but
Who would
I feel
be?
like
Who
he's
would
quite,
be? Who would be your? Yeah, no. Steve's like.
He's
Captain
quite
Fantastic.
sensible.
Yeah. So yeah, who would be your like dream international guy to mic up?
Oh, that is a great question. I mean, after Blair recently, I'd have Blair King on wearing it for Scotland. He would be. Obviously, someone like Finn would be quite cool. Having a 10 do it because a 10
Yeah, I
do all
think
the
Finn
moves
Finn
and
would be good. Yeah.
talking it up, and they're constantly speaking, aren't they? Whereas as back row, you're just blowing out your ass the whole time.
But wouldn't you love it if like Finn and he knew and he was doing it and we all knew, but he'd be like try time, before he gets the ball, looks up and it's like try time before it even leaves his boot.
Someone like that.
The cross kick.
I think that's why it works so well in the NFL, just because of the breaks in play and like the time before the snap. So like you can hear the sledging, the stick talk. Like Cam Newton famously said, "Oh, you've been watching film? Okay, watch this." Mike do a boom, top right corner touchdown. Just the most swaggy clip of player Mike.
Front row would be interesting, though.
Front row would be interesting. There's a few guys out there, like Genji would be quite funny on a mic because he sometimes if he's really feeling it, he'll get into a few boys. It's quite funny.
Well, in any case, let's move on to the chunk of what we are actually doing today, which is our Six Nations preview. That's why we've all come together in London to make sure that we look ahead to what promised to be a very exciting Six Nations. A lot of big names missing, but then, I think opportunities. We like to see new stars being created in this fashion in the international cauldron. So, let's kick straight in. First, big hope for you for the Six Nations.
Scotland Grand Slam.
Okay, that was
Oh,
obvious.
that is ambitious.
Well, I can break it down for you in a minute if you want.
No, because it's the same. He follows it every year we do this, right? We only need to win the first. You'll name the first 2 games. Once we've won those, then it's whoever the third. Well, that's easy because we won the first.
We won the first 2 games
for the first time in years, and then you lost. Yeah, but it's that. Although Blair Kinghorn did say he did fancy the Grand Slam. He said that you would do it. So there you go. Oh, right. So Grand Slam for Scotland, Max.
I think England back into title contention. That is an exciting young team. Lots of fresh faces, new guys at the top of their rugby.
Do you know what's crazy? I think I'm more optimistic about this England team than I was the one that went to the World Cup.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's the sentiment.
That's crazy.
And they still made the semi. As Mark said, it leaves the void for like a fresh new identity. Who will be England's saviours?
Who are you picking up fly half, boys?
Finn Smith.
Yeah.
I want Marcus to play there and have full reign. That'd be cool. But Finn is very exciting. I'm all for that as well. So either or. Is George? But George is in there as well.
Yeah, he's in there as well. But I just think they need to start looking ahead.
George Ford, age 30.
Oh God, is he only 30? If George Ford only 30 years old?
Yeah, mate.
I thought he was like 35.
He's been around.
got like
He has
in
been
his
around.
mind, he's probably got at least 4 or 5
easily,
years.
Yeah. How have we written him off so easily?
No, to be fair to Max, has never written him off. Always reminds us. You, on a weekly basis, have written him
I
off.
didn't know he was only 30. That's mental. Still, Finn Smith, it's the prodigy.
Do we think England will change things up? I mean, Jamie George has said that they're trying to expand the way they play, but realistically, particularly listening to what Ben Earl was saying about the way they look at statistics data and the analysis of it, effectively hit a certain number of points throughout the game, you will win that game. Do we think that leaves space for a Finn Smith or particularly for a Marcus Smith?
I think, well, they can both play that way. We know this. But what's interesting is, like, obviously France very successful, play a lot of ball in hand. Ireland very successful, play a fair bit of ball in hand. The All Blacks almost beat the world champions with 14 men playing with ball in hand. So, I don't know, what is the data saying to these sports scientists who are attached to England? And potentially we do see some changes there in terms of how they're going to play. But I don't know who the right guy is. I suppose Finn, watching him, you think he's more of that sort of high percentage, keeps the ball on a string sort of kicking, like that performance he had in Munster was consummate. So, and Marcus Smith is the sort of the magician, the Houdini. But I feel as if he also has that skill set. It's just the way that sort of edifies him to play the game is to be the trickster. So it'll be interesting to see.
Big loss though. Ollie Lawrence obviously injured.
Huge loss.
Like
huge
that was
loss.
you were looking at it going. Ollie Lawrence and Slade were in the centres there. Now what happens with Ollie Lawrence going so well and then being injured and Tuilagi out? Who do they put in there?
Well, what would you do?
Dingwall's a shout in there, isn't he?
Yeah.
Some people are
Do
talking
they just
about
go? Do they just
Daly in
go?
there.
Max
Yeah,
Ajomo
maybe
is the other one.
Max Ajomo's involved.
This is our England backline. I'm starting off with Mitchell at 9 and Smith, one of them at 10. Makes it so much easier.
Commit.
Nope.
You got to say something.
Smith. I'm saying Finn Smith, you say Marcus Smith. We can't make our minds up, so we'll just go down the middle and have Smith. Perfect.
So the 10-12 axes of 2 ball players.
I'm definitely having Slade in those. Let's not pick a 12 and 13. Let's just say who the centres will be. I'm saying Slade and Dingwall myself.
I think that is the partnership to pick going on form and experience.
Perfect. Wings?
At club level as well, sorry. Wings, I think we put Daly in there. And does Manny Faye-Wabosa start for England?
But what's happened
I
to
think
Freeman?
Italy,
What's
that's
happened
perfect.
to Freeman?
Oh no, Freeman. No, yeah, let's go. No, you're right. I want Wabosa and Tommy Freeman on the edge.
So Daly's now the utility back on the bench because Freddie Stewart
Agreed.
is
And Freddie
starting
Stewart
at 15.
is stapled on at 15. Mate, there's so many cool players.
So, boys, actually for you, Max, any surprises in the forwards, do you think, when somebody gets a shot at glory?
I would like to see Benno start against Italy. I think Ellis coming back from injury, obviously a crucial member of the leadership group in that team. But I think for this game, Benno's in supreme form. Get him in there And then, obviously, the few injuries in the locks department, but it'll be interesting to see who goes in there now. It'll probably just be Chesham and Marrow, just to keep it sort of reasonably consistent. And then what are we going to do with Cunningham South? Don Brandt, the back row's now up for grabs, so that's going to be really interesting to see where Borford goes and what sort of direction he's going to take that.
Where do we think England are finishing?
4th.
3rd.
Who's going to be the player that stands out for you from England?
If he plays, Finn Smith. Otherwise, Mitchell. I think he's been on form.
Yeah, Alex Mitchell, that's a great shout. Yeah. He's going to be epicenter of that team going forward.
Let's move on to Scotland, as it's home territory for you, Wills. And probably start with the tough calls around the back row, because you're stacked in the backs. But in the back row, there's some question marks around who's going to be starting and the fact that your former skipper is no longer a definitive starter anymore. So there's all of those conversations being had. Where's your head at with this?
Going back row, I know that Darge isn't fit for the first game. He starts if he's fit. So he'll start the week after against France. First game at Andy Christie, again, man of the match at the weekend.
I want Christie, Bayliss and Dempsey.
He's got 3 man of the matches in
That's me.
8 weeks. So, but does he? Matt Ferguson's gone very, very well and tried and tested at international level.
Okay, Matt Ferguson.
I genuinely think it's an all Glasgow back row when everyone's fit. It's
Darge,
Ferguson and Dempsey. But for this one, this weekend, I think Luke Crosby will play. I think Luke Crosby will start. And it'll be Bayliss or Andy Christie on the bench.
So wait, Jamie Ritchie's not even on the bench for you anymore?
No, I genuinely think that they'll, with the way that those players have been playing, I think you will struggle to get in the team. It's a tough opposition, back row. I'm just happy I'm not around anymore
to stir the pot.
to not make it in. That's a big call, isn't it, from me?
Quick word on your buddy Adam Hastings. Very sad. Really sad, man.
He's in Barcelona at the moment, which makes me worry because that's where the witch doctor is.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's where he's gone.
He said that's where the witch doctor is. Gutted for Hasto, big loss. Shall I quickly reel off my starting back line then? For Ben White injured at the weekend, went off injured.
Huge.
Against playing for Toulon, came off injured, ice on shoulder. Oh my God! But if he's fit, Ben White, Finn Russell, Sione Tuipolotu with, I think Hugh Jones. I think Shuggy will start.
Yes, they keep him going.
And then you've got Staino on one wing, and because Darcy Graham's out, obviously, but Staino's bloody good.
Very good.
Staino on one wing, Big Dewey, Dedi Garriga on the other, and then Schmog, the man, the myth, the legend, the odd bloke, Blair Kinghorn at 15. That is a fucking unbelievable backline. Can they do it at Principality? Big ask, but this is the year to do it.
Where is Scotland going to finish?
Second. I think Scotland are going to finish second. I think the first 3 games they win because it's Wales away, the year to do it, go down there and they've got everyone ready to go. They beat Wales away. They've got France at home, which they've done plenty of times. Beating France so many times at Murrayfield. It's a tough place for France to come and play. They win that one. Then they've got the easy one, England at home. Just swept aside. Honestly, just
a gimme.
Yeah, just sneeze and blow them off the park. And then you go away to Italy, banana skin, imagine that, mamma mia. But we win, boys, we win that one. We're 4 on the bounce. Then you go to Ireland.
Yeah, and then
that's fucking impossible.
The dream killer. Yeah.
Absolute impossible place to go and play. So that might be the dream killer. But second, I think that's $9,000 a game.
He says, not with any interest.
That's just unreal. Unreal that you managed to lead it to the.
Imagine that. Scotland Ireland, St. Paddy's Day, going for a Grand Slam.
But it's interesting that Blair talking, he wasn't dismissive of France, but there was definitely a way where he was like, it's not a team that we fear at home. And, he's playing with the superstars on a daily basis. And yet he was still, his mindset was quite, oh no, that's not the one that's which is strange. I thought that, France are arguably the contenders for the title.
I think everyone's, I'm not going to say overestimating Dupont. Obviously, he is the man right now. But his absence makes everyone think that France are now some kind of walkover, which is very strange. Very weird that you'd think that.
Oh, no, I'm not saying they're a walkover. What are you looking
I think
at
they're
me?
still going to be prodigious.
Yeah, I think they're going to be unbelievable.
They're gonna
That
be
first
horrible.
game of the Six Nations, Ireland-France, is almost like the Grand Slam decider, isn't it? Really, if we think about it that way. That is the
gonna be
big one.
naughty.
And I think France do it. I think France beat Ireland.
Oh, mate, I'm excited to see.
Mate, it's down in Marseille, right? And it's...
Oh, is it down in Marseille?
Yeah, so it's going
not
to be
a Stade de
fervent
France.
atmosphere. No, because they're getting it ready for the
Oh,
Olympics.
my
So
goodness.
it's going to be absolutely... That is going to be a
Brings
proper
back memories, that. Oh, jeez. Please, no, not the cruise ship. Not the cruise ship. Nico, where are you?
That does sound like a strange Charles Bukowski book.
That is fucking huge.
We're talking about France versus Ireland. Let's go to France. And the big question is, of course, who is going to fill those rather sizable Dupont boots?
Well, by all sounds, it's going to be Luku, isn't it? Le Garac is playing outstandingly well at the moment, but I think he's probably the one they look to for the big one. That's it. They need to start well, don't they? So they're not going to take any chances. That Le Garac, he's not played for France, has he?
No, he's uncapped, and actually, he's one of those ones. Anybody watching him, like in any other country at this point, he'd be 50. Like he'd have,
He'd
have a lot of caps. But the way that the scrum half position has just been owned, but they've only picked 2 scrum halves. So,
But they don't. Yeah, he's on the bench. They don't start him, do they? For the game against Ireland, or do they? So they do it French and just go mental.
It makes sense with Luku because you've obviously got Jalibert there, both club mates. Bordeaux doing very well. It seems like a more reliable decision to make. But Vive la France, you never know.
is that overrated, boys, from a professional standpoint rather than just the neutrals? Because there's a lot of talk around. We talk about
club
England,
chemistry.
like, well, if they start Mitchell, why wouldn't they start Finn Smith? But if they started Danny Kerr, then it makes sense to have Marcus Smith. Or, here in this particular instance, Maxime Luku plays day in, day out with Jalibert. Is that real? Is that a thing? Have you seen that kind of connectivity?
At 9 and 10, yeah.
Yeah, 100.
Okay, so it completely is in Luku's favour in this instance that Jalibert will start.
Yeah, I think that's why Finn and Ali. That's why Ali Price got the nod for so long with Finn Russell, because they were such good mates as well. Roommates, really good mates, lived together, flatmates. I genuinely think that had a part to play in it, how well they knew each other. So the fact that they play at club week in, week out, they know each other's exactly what each other are doing. Yeah, it does make a difference.
If you're looking at the France squad, it's quite interesting. They've only picked 2 scrum halves and 2 fly halves, which, everybody else, you've got an extra, and they're stacking it with big old forwards and everything. I just wonder whether that's something. Do you think that we will see more of evolutionary wise? Because we've talked about what South Africa were doing at the World Cup, and then do you think that people actually are like, oh, that is more necessary? Are the forwards? Is it more important to have a lot of forwards in that initial big squad than it is to have backs?
I think in France's case, they've got 2 very interesting athletes in the lock forward position outside of like Willemse and Flamand, etc. Obviously being injured, with Tuilagi and Miafu, and they're heralded to be. They are mega freaks. Let's be honest. It's like looking at Kaiju on Pacific Rim. They're completely singular. There's only like people like Will Skelton out there who sort of was sort of the mold that was set in that regard. So I think there's been a lot of promise there, and I think France know if they can get those 2 into game, like sort of like how Tafanua is, just owning like the gain line. It's so hard to prepare for athletes like that. especially guys who can move the way those two do. And I think they know that if they can get those guys into a game, it makes a halfback's life very easy, especially when you're like Jelly Bear.
Talk us through. You've come up against Posolo Tuilagi. Describe him to us from even your standpoint of being,
Yeah,
Chat
he's
yourself.
he's very, very big, very, very vast. He's sort of like it's like playing against a Newfoundland puppy, like a huge one, like ginormous, and it's the way he like throws himself into everything. Because when you're that youthful as well, you've got so much zeal about you, so much energy, and then on top of that, you're like in the 140 click range, and you're just loving life. And he's clearly got a license to do what he wants at Perpignan, and mate, I'm very excited for his future. Like, if it goes anything like his father's. Also met his dad after the game that time. Legend of a bloke, very lovely man. Still so big. I couldn't believe how big he was. I was like, oh my God.
I'm scared to say
what you
it.
mean, and also Posolo's only gonna get like leaner, bigger. Like his test hasn't even peaked yet. He hasn't even approached manhood. His bones haven't fully formed. His like brain hasn't fully developed. Mate, he's only gonna get more apex predatory in the game of rugby.
But exactly what I was just about to say.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's perfect.
Yeah.
Newfoundland puppy is what you were saying. There's
Yeah.
a bit of puppy fat about
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
When
no,
he
he
sheds-
hasn't quite. Yeah, and then when that gets sheared off,
And it turns to muscle.
oh God,
Yeah.
oh
Oh
no,
my God.
hey,
He's going to be an absolute
It's gonna be
mutant.
terrifying.
He does look a little bit like that.
Yeah.
Like he's not quite fully developed, but
Yeah,
he's
but he's-
150 kilos,
exactly.
19 years
Exactly.
old. Imagine what he's going to turn into.
Mate.
Probably grow another foot as well.
yeah, somehow like the late growth spurt,
Oh,
just
my.
fueled by taro and sapsui, make the blokes. Yeah, oh, it's gonna be so exciting.
What was it? What was the story when you played against him? Did he do something to you?
Oh man, he so I had like a walk in of a try, picked and goed against the fold. Everyone folded round. He was there, threw out his mighty mitt paw and just dislodged the ball as I dived over the line. And I was just like, you cheeky bastard. How good was that? Mental, but yeah, such is the way.
What do we think then in terms of Dupont no longer being the cap there, of course, but also not being the captain? This is a good opportunity for Alldrit. We see him do it. He knows how to do it, and he is
He's back.
a talisman himself. And can we see an even better version of Gregory Alldrit?
How old's Gregory Alldrit? Carl Urban.
Well, I get it all wrong. I think everyone's ancient. But actually, I'm ancient.
But I think that's
26.
Well, Olivon's still in there as well.
He's so young. He's cheeky old. That's so sneaky old.
He's also Scottish. Can you believe
He's
it?
not Scottish.
Gregory Alldrit.
He was born. Yeah, no, it's
No,
funny.
he is. He's Scottish.
He grew up in Scotland. It's slightly different.
Scottish. He could have played. Exactly like Guy
What
Mercer.
clan does he herald
Oh,
from?
is it Guy Zach?
Zach, exactly.
I think-
oh, mate,
is
he
his
played
old-
very well on the anyway. But yeah, he played very well on the weekend.
But it's like Zach Mercer. Like born and raised in Scotland. Well, he was up there in Scotland for most of his youth. So he should have played for Scotland. That's why I was asking him whether he could play. But yeah, Alldrit should have played for Scotland. Well, I guess I probably kept him out of the team.
Yeah, so Gregory Alldrit, sabbatical, came back for La Rochelle, tearing up. Mate, I think he's going to have the bit between his teeth. I think Ronan O'Gara alluded to it in the post. He was like these guys, he was talking about him in particular, how old he is, like how young he was, sorry, and like how much rugby he's already played. And these sort of big time guys, this is what they play for. It's these games. And I think with that sort of mental refreshment from the World Cup, coming back to some European rugby with La Rochelle, he's gonna be a problem. And I think like the onus of being captain for a nation as glorious and as sort of proud as France would only buoy him further. So yeah, expecting big things from him this tournament, I think.
Where do we think France are ending up?
Like I said, the first game is almost the decider for who wins Six Nations, I feel like. So
The first game.
sounds ridiculous, but but then it would mess up my predictions of Scotland finishing second.
I'm so excited to see how Ireland come back from the World Cup.
I reckon France are going to win it. I reckon France first. I might have just knocked
Yeah,
Scotland down
I've
to the
got
third.
an-
I
I've
think
got-
Scotland finished third now.
I've got a strange inclination they will as well, yeah.
Yeah? So we're going France.
So I'm going to go France, yeah, with the dub.
There you have it.
Well, let's talk about the other side of that epic contest in Marseille. Ireland, an Ireland team. Yeah, potentially, are they still reeling from that heartbreak at the World Cup? Don't boo them. That is,
You love trolling Ireland so much.
No one in Ireland listens, I don't think so.
No, that's true. Actually, no, that's not true. I was in Galway. I've got a few guys coming up to me in
Oh, goodness.
in the many pubs.
Oh,
very
goodness.
very pleased.
That's all right. They won't like Munster.
Okay, fine. We'll start with Munster and your best bud, Peter O'Mahony.
Boys, I saw Dargy in the week, Rory Darge, and he obviously went over to the launch of the Six Nations, and I said, "Oh, Peter O'Mahony there was he?" He's like, "Yeah, he's actually strangely quite a nice bloke." To chat away, I was like, "You fucking what? What touch?" And yeah, he said, "Lovely bloke, chatting away." So I think he might have changed. I think that Farrell has maybe softened him and said,
Yeah, but
"I'm going to make you captain. I need you to be nice to everyone."
Yeah, but you've only known Peter O'Mahony on the field,
Yeah, true.
so I think that's a entirely
And I think
different
he
beast.
has a similar view on you, right?
Yeah,
if
true,
we asked him,
true.
what do you think of Ryan Wilson? He'd probably be saying that. Rather than you've
Mate,
got
I
Andy
went-
Farrell as
We
asking to be a
joke.
good bloke.
We joke. I'm sure if we met and had a pint together, we'd love each other.
I fell into his Instagram account by accident. It just appeared on my Discovery, right? And
Were
I
you
couldn't
looking at your
believe.
gardening tips.
Yeah, he's a green thumb of the highest order. He's incredibly passionate about his lawn.
To the
isn't
point,
he?
he's out there with his fucking
He was
hairdressing scissors,
he
cutting the
was
grass.
counting the follicles of grass on his perfectly immaculate lawn. It was amazing.
That's what people do when they have anger issues, though. They find something like that, I think, that they need to, like, you know what I mean?
What, like American Psycho with Christian.
I'm going out to cut the lawn, honey.
Yeah, but
Yeah. But that he is the right
He is
choice, really,
absolutely
isn't he?
the right
in
man,
terms of
yeah.
for the captain in Ireland and the passion.
he's
around
playing
it.
very well for Munster at the moment. He's in
He's
some
going
good
all right.
form.
He's going
So
all right.
Ryan, you've been in the sort of being centrally contracted type situations, right? I think how Scotland works. Is it weird that your captain is the only one that isn't offered a central contract? I think out of the, I'm not sure out of the entire squad, but certainly out of what would be the starting 15.
yeah, what's going on there?
I think with all the young boys obviously coming up, it's got to be to do with age. He's the same age as me, 33 plus one. There's a whole Peter O'Mahony, so I don't know why I'm still lying about that. My rugby days are fucking long gone. That's another. Let's not get onto it.
Yeah.
But people like Tom Ahern, who have been playing so well for Munster, who Max, as we have a little look down, is in the training panelist.
It's interesting.
What is a training panelist?
I like when coaches put their own spin on things, though. Like, when they put like apprentices or like, in this case, training panelists.
So Sam Prendergast, Thomas Ahern, and Ollie Jaeger, all training panelists. Is that bin juice? Is that
The finest bin juice.
because they bring in players sometimes that haven't. Like there's a little bit of chat around Tom Jordan potentially, who plays at Glasgow. He can qualify for Scotland next year, and he's young. Bringing him in to train with Scotland to get a little bit of exposure. Is that what that is? These can all
Yeah.
play. Ollie Jaeger can play at the moment. I think he might have just gone up into the squad because there's been an injury. Dr. Robotnik, as we call him.
Yeah, but
But-
just because of how he looks.
Do you reckon they get labelled? No, yeah, that's how he looks. You don't remember?
No, I know
Dr.
he
Robotnik.
looks a bit like that, but he's very in shape. Physical.
Oh yeah, it's nothing to
specimen
do
of
with
a
his body
man.
shape.
Oh, right,
It's more
okay.
because his bald head and his big moustache. He
Yeah,
looks like
yeah,
the man
okay,
from
fair
Sonic.
enough.
But
Okay.
training panelists, do you reckon they have to wear a t-shirt at training instead of training? Training
What, like
panelists?
intern? Like
Well,
a
they get
bear.
a different coloured
Panelist.
jersey when you come in.
Yeah, that might be a thing.
You don't want to be a training panelist, do you?
But isn't it getting it exposure?
I'd rather be a training panelist than not a training
Not a
panelist.
training panelist.
You're a TP.
Yeah.
Well, they are then. I don't know why he's a training panelist, and I don't even know. We were talking about this a second ago.
It's because they got so much utility.
Yeah, but you can. Why not just put him in the? Why not just put him in the squad? Why label them down there? I don't really get it.
I think Farrell's got a pretty good idea of how to manage
3
people.
further training additions. Munster, Ollie, who will travel with the Ireland squad to Portugal next Wednesday. That's all it says.
I think it's giving them that kind of
recognition,
but
that
also
you're in the
not
right
giving
path.
them you've made it to the full squad.
There it is. That's Farrell.
It's getting them into the environment so they understand what it takes to have the success to make it.
So
in
he
there.
cares what people on the outside think of his squad selection then.
No, because the point is, if he
cares
just
what the
named them in the
players
squad, the media would go.
It's more about the players.
Yeah, it's so the players mentally. I mean, Eddie Jones made a huge thing about Marcus Smith at the time, and he was like, "We see that as the future." But if he names him in his squad, Marcus Smith is. I'm sure he's a very level-headed guy, but might be saying like,
but
"Oh
you
shit."
realise coaches talk to players before they come into the squad. So the coach will go, "Hey mate, you're in the squad, but by the way, you're 4th in the pecking order." That happens. Those phone calls happen. So the coach will phone you and say, "By the way, you're in the squad. Congratulations. This is where I see you at the moment." So I don't understand why you need to name it as they're panelists. I just don't get it. Maybe they're going to do like a Masked Singer thing, and they're going to sit on the panel and training or something like that. I don't know. I just think it's odd. So
Okay, well, look, right. Let's move
I
on.
want to be a
sounds-
TP.
Let's move on. The big question, of course, and sizable shoes that need to be filled for the first time in what feels like forever. Jonny Sexton retiring. 4 fly halves. Who is replacing the great Jonny?
It's Crowley. Surely. Yeah. Surely you can't be serious. Don't call me surely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
He's Jack Crowley there.
It's got to be Crowley.
Yeah, Crowley will slot into that system. And like we said, it doesn't matter who pulls that jersey on Friday, they sit into this system that he's got going on, Faz.
And it's so nice and fluid, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's
it's
beautiful to
disgusting.
watch, the interplay between those forwards and backs. I think playing 10 for Ireland, it's pretty good because you've got such a good, upskilled, well-drilled team around you. I think it makes your life quite easy. So, yeah, I think it's top to Crowley.
Yeah. There you have it, Crowley.
Another question mark around. There's a big name missing, and one of your favourite guys, Mac Hansen.
Oh, yeah. I think I saw him in Australia recently on his Instagram. He's just pissed off to Oz. Good on him. Doesn't seem to care very much, does he? I like that. I like that about him.
Who do we think is filling his spot? We've got
Calvin Nash.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Again, been going really well.
Agreed.
Elusive, strong runner.
Very good form.
Yeah. Chuck him in the mix and there you have it.
Where are Ireland finishing?
They're an enigma to me this year. I'm very intrigued to see. Although Leinster's still playing very well.
England are playing them at home at Twickenham as well. Do you reckon England beat them at Twickenham this year?
I reckon they've got a better chance this year.
Yeah? But you think France will beat them in the first game, so that's Ireland have lost 2 games now. You think they're going to beat Scotland?
No, I think
last game?
Ireland is second. Yeah.
Yeah, second, so they're not beating England.
No, they are beating England.
So that means
So
right
I'm third.
now.
I'm England third or second.
Hold on, well, no, yeah.
Oh, do I have to be definitive?
Yeah. I know,
All right, fine. I'll be definitive. Oh, my heart wants England to do it, but my brain just tells me I think Ireland is still too IQ'd up. I think
So you've gone France, Ireland second, England third. Stop there. Okay. And I'm going France.
Yeah.
I'm going France. And I'm going Ireland second. And I'm going Scotland third. Scotland just moved to third. I'm sorry to say it. Fuck.
Okay, well let's move on to Wales. Again, lots of things around captaincy and important positions like fly half. But let's start with that. David Jenkins taking over.
who's getting axed? Rowlands or Beard? Or does Dafford play 6? Because Will Rowlands and Beard have been fairly integral, and they're both pretty good still.
Yeah.
I'd say
That's not a bad shout. I reckon they'd be happy to go with a big old pack of 3 second rows in there, especially with that first game against Scotland. So that's not a bad shout, Max. It's not a bad shout at all. Yeah. Let's go with that.
So we're going with Dafford at 6.
Yeah. Who have we just moved out of the 6th position though?
Any of you could probably
Wainwright.
go Wainwright,
Tommy
or
Raphael.
Tommy Raphael, or Tame Basham.
Wainwright
Yep.
at 8. Dafford at 6. Tommy Raffles at 7. I think Tane Basham and Raffle are interchangeable, but Tommy's Tommy's my man. Yeah, definitely.
Let's go to the fly half position now, where there's only 11 caps between the 3 fly halves that have been picked. Sam Costello, and you got Evans and Lloyd, and actually, obviously, you spent a long time playing with.
Johan.
Yeah. Thoughts?
I mean, it would seem to me that Costello's the guy they're going to pick. He's probably the man in the driver's seat, but Johan Lloyd he is a cerebral talent.
Yeah.
Very, very good. The only thing I'd say about Yo is maybe just I haven't played with him for a bit now, so I don't know how he's going at Scarlets, but it's just his, the comms, I suppose. Maybe that's like his one thing he needs to
Was he quite
get
quiet?
up. He was quite a quiet player, but man, he could do things. Oh, it was so fun to watch him. He was he could play it anywhere across the back line and do a job for you. Very good, deceptively powerful, fast athlete, very good feet, incredible skills. Man, there's not much he's bad at. He'll throw himself in the spokes, fully.
What's his best position?
I quite like him at 15, honestly, but these men know much more than I. Is he down as a 10, is he?
He's down as a 10, yeah.
But I mean, very good 10 as well.
Warren Gatland saying that you'd be silly to ever write them off, and I think that's again you guys have done it before over the last few years, and they were arguably moments away from getting to a semi-final at the World Cup. It could have gone the other way. I know it was an easier draw perhaps, but it doesn't matter. They still are able to perform at those levels. It's never easy. Scotland know to go to Cardiff and to try and win there. Is the same thing happening again? Are they being written off? And is Warren Gatland going to prove, as he does every time, the doubters wrong?
Yeah, I think we're wrong to write them off. We did it last year, exactly like you said, at the World Cup. Completely wrote them off. Welsh rugby in a dire state at the moment with all the stuff going on with the clubs and cuts in terms of wages and their limited playing groups. It's really dire, but they always seem to pull through and do something. So, honestly, I go down to Wales and you see England coming to Murrayfield, genuinely, and I see it as an easier game than us going down to play Wales in the Principality. But you look at the squads, you go, well, that doesn't make any sense. Do you know what I mean? And it's a different place to go and play. Principality is a tough place to go and play. They always find a way to grind it out. They're a test match team, Wales. They always have been. So, yeah, I don't think we can write them off.
Let's finish up with Italy. And great to see Canone.
Big Lorenzo.
Yeah.
I was sunning with him when we watched the Couch Historica.
Yes, you were.
Yeah, he was topless in all his kind of swabby splendour.
Yeah, no, I bet he's not got a rig like you, though.
Oh, no, he has got a very good rig.
Not as good as yours.
No, it's on here.
What?
Hand.
It's the same level.
Really?
He's a handsome man. Also, he's got youth on his side. I'm slowly turning into a sultana.
So Canone, great, big, fast, good hands. It's great to have him sort of in and around it. Who should we be looking out for, though, from Italy?
I think Rive sort of talked about him last time, but Menicello. I think that's the guy. Obviously, look forward to seeing Capiosa take the field again.
So you obviously got the wingers. Simone Gessi, the Zebra winger, 11 tries in 12 games so far this season. He's only 22 years old, Max. And then Lorenzo Panni, the fullback, 21 years old. He's 6'4".
Ooh,
Debut in the summer, already on 5 caps. They've got a dangerous back three. And you chuck Ange Capuzzo in the mix, and Monty Ioane, and the way that Benetton have been going in the league. Look at that back row as well. The likes of Lamaro, Canone, Negri.
There's some problems there.
They've ended up down the bottom? Is it because we done them last that they just ended up down the bottom?
Yeah.
Because
but I think they ended up, it'll be like very narrow results, I think.
Do you think they're getting? Are you think you're going to get closer? I mean, we've talked about the back row where you've got their captain Lamoro doesn't seem to ever let he's plays with passion, and again Canoni and our friend Seb Negri, who is also pretty hard boy. Suddenly, they seem to be always everybody writing them off, but they're going to be in the mix. Do we think? Are they going to? Firstly, do we see any upsets on the cards?
I think if there's an upset, it's happening in Rome. It's happening at Stadio Olimpico. If you see an upset, but it's going to be tough for them.
Well, look, they're quite established as a team, relatively speaking. They're coming up against what is a slightly transformed England side. Is that the gimme that people would say?
I bloody hope so.
I don't think so. I just think like last year they had so many like flashes of brilliance. Like they played really good rugby, but there was always just like phases of play like for too long where they were just giving it away too easily, and then teams would just punish them. So unless they've like rectified that, I think it could be a similar story. Like I think we're going to see some brilliant rugby from them, 100%. But do they have that sort of the killer instinct at this level? Is yet to be seen, I reckon.
It was always the case of 60 minutes. I remember last season, you're like 6 minutes, they're going to do it. They're going to do it. They're going to do it. And then like the last 10 minutes, they've just sort of to die off. Yeah. So, man, I think everyone wants them to win a couple of games somewhere. But no one wants to bloody lose against them, do they? I would. What was it? England lost to Scotland in the opening game last year, didn't they? Imagine England losing to Italy in their opening game. It'd be a wonderful thing to see.
Fair enough, boys.
That would be an interesting story. Yeah, that would be a dynamic storyline for the.
And Scotland lose to Wales, and you got Wales.
Then rugby's the winner. Sorry.
Yeah, and that's what we want, and that is what we want. But boys, so just to the camera, have a look straight in. Final predictions. Stick to your word, and then we can cut it up and make you look stupid or clever. Go, Max.
France, Ireland. England, Scotland, Wales, Italy,
France, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, England, Italy. We just want to take this wonderful opportunity while sat in Mark's lovely, humble abode to say a big thank you to the ongoing support from our sponsor, that is Wolf Craig Distillers, who have supported us all the way through this, boys. We've stumbled our way through it, but they've been there forever, helping us through. And if you want to go and check out some of their lovely gins and whiskies, where do they need to go, Max?
wolfcraig.com.
Any of you boys help yourselves to the little things we got at Christmas?
Oh yeah, they were so nice. That was a really lovely touch.
Lovely little touch.
It really was.
And so actually, what we're going to do for all of you out there is we're going to ask you to head over to our YouTube channel, which is Maul or Nothing.
Yes.
What you need to do is subscribe, because we need to keep growing our YouTube channel so that you can have unlimited access to our wonderful extra content that we're doing today. Actually, we're going to go jump on the sofa and do something a little bit special along the lines of...
Sounds weird, that.
Moggle Box.
That sounded really weird.
That sounds really weird.
But we need everyone that listens to do something really simple. They need to follow us on Instagram, which isn't that hard, and then go over to the YouTube channel, More or Nothing, and subscribe. And they could be in with a chance of winning 2 tickets to Scotland versus France at Murrayfield next week. That's right.
Dum, dum, dum.
Proudly given to us by our sponsors at wolfcraig.com.
Sadly, that's all the time we've got left for this week. Do watch out, because there are some fun things coming. It's part 2 of Ben Earl as well to look forward to.
Yes.
So a lot of great content coming up. But thank you to Ryan and to Max, and we will see you all next week.
More or Nothing. What do you mean by ASMR? Autonomous sensory meridian response.
Oh, so lovely.
Autonomous sensory meridian response. Why you got to make it like that?
Because I think people are going to be listening still and be like, what is going on in Irons?